welcome. A new morning in the UK, but the story is old. The political crisis continues. Another UK minister gone. This one in less than 45 days. A leadership riddled with radical policies that held no water. Crony cabinet members that were subsequently fired. A plummeting pound, and worse, no support from either the party or the public. The lettuce outlasts Liz Truss, whose departure has thrown the country once again into chaos. Joining me today is Mr. Gareth Thomas, a Labour and Cooperative Member of Parliament from Harrow West. Now, Harrow is a constituency in London which has Asians in a majority, of which Indians are the highest number. Mr. Thomas is very popular among the Indian community and has been an MP continuously since May 1997. He is also the current Shadow Minister for International Trade. Thank you for your time, Mr. Thomas. Welcome to Mojo Show.
Thanks very much for having me.
Let me begin by asking you, did Liz Truss' resignation come as a surprise to you, or is it a surprise that she lasted 45 days?
It didn't come as a surprise. Her handling of a number of issues, of which the biggest problems were the economic problems, was very poor. And as a result, she lost the confidence of her own supporters over that period. I think she failed to convince the country from very early on that she was the right person for the job. So I think the combination of a mishandling of a series of big issues, in particular the disastrous mini budget, and then the shocking poll ratings that the Conservative Party had, I think, killed off any remaining support that she might have had.
Yeah, and as you're saying rightly, Rishi Sunak also predicted this. His doom and gloom predictions have all come true. He's one of the likely contenders to the post of the Prime Minister, and many Indians, some of them from your own constituency, are rooting for him to win. Do you think Sunak will come back, or do you think there'll be some sort of a alliance between Boris and Sunak in power now?
Well, it'd be very interesting to see what happens over the next 10 days at one level. I think Mr. Sunak's problem is that his record in government isn't certainly better than Liz Truss's, but that's a very low bar. But his record as Chancellor of the Exchequer wasn't fantastic either. So I think he will struggle to unite the Conservative Party. He's blamed by many Conservatives for finishing off Boris Johnson, and I think as a result there'll be quite a few Conservatives who struggle to support him. But he's certainly popular in some parts of the Conservative Party. That's true. Excuse me.
I'm going to quickly take our viewers to this video clip from the Commons yesterday, where Yvette Cooper raised these very issues that you have also been raising on several occasions. If we could just run that little clip, please.
Mr Speaker, I notice there's no Home Secretary this morning, unless the member for Bassett Law has been appointed Home Secretary in the last few hours, which, to be honest, nothing would surprise us at the moment, because this is total chaos. We've got the third Home Secretary in 7 weeks. The Cabinet was only appointed 6 weeks ago. The Home Secretary's been sacked, the Chancellor sacked, the Chief Whip sacked and then unsacked, and the unedifying scenes of Conservative MPs last night fighting like rats in a sack. This is a disgrace. The former Home Secretary has circulated a letter, and that seems to contradict what the Minister just said, because she said it was a draft of a written ministerial statement that was due to be published imminently and had already been briefed to MPs. Is that not true? Can he explain the answer to that? And can he tell us also what time the Home Secretary informed the Cabinet Secretary of the breach, and whether a check's been made of whether she sent other documents through personal emails putting security at risk? Or Borders, security, policing are too important for this kind of instability, just as people's livelihoods are too important for the economic instability that this Conservative Party has created. It is not fair on people, and to quote the former Home Secretary, this is indeed a total coalition of chaos. Why should the country have to put up with this for a single extra day?
And as we can all see, opposition parties have been calling for a general election. Mr. Thomas, you have also on several occasions said that it's time now for the general election. So why now, and why not 2 years later?
Well, I think the Conservatives are in such difficulty in terms of the level of turmoil in their party that I don't think they can concentrate on the big issues facing our country. I think, in addition, they've demonstrated a failure to get the big economic decisions right. The plans for £60 billion worth of unfunded tax cuts, which spooked the markets in the UK and precipitated all sorts of economic problems going forward, potentially cuts in public services, potentially higher tax increases. They're a direct result of the mishandling of the economy by Liz Truss initially, but also as a result of decisions taken by Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson before that too. So I think the country feels enough is enough. I think let's go to a general election. Let whoever is the new Conservative leader put their views to the British public, and let's have a contest to decide who really is the future of Britain. And we certainly don't fear such a contest, and I hope the new leader of the Conservative Party won't fear such a contest and will have the courage to recognise that it's in Britain's long-term interest to get real political stability, and only a general election can really deliver that.
Yeah, and you've rightly mentioned that what we have in the UK right now is a rising inflation, high cost of living, unaffordable mortgages, endless NHS queues, and the list can just go on and on. You also said that the Conservative Party has crashed the economy and they can't be trusted with public finances. What can the Labour Party do in the short term to help the public?
Well, in the short term, our job at the moment is to highlight where the government's going wrong, and to hope that as a result of that work, that the government recognises its mistakes and puts in place a proper response. But our even bigger responsibility is to prepare for government and to start thinking through some of the big issues and big challenges that our country faces, and what we would do in government. So those are our two big challenges. But I think the bigger issue for all politicians in Westminster is to recognise that, given the turmoil, the only way to resolve that turmoil is to go to the people of this country and say, who do you want in charge to make the big decisions going forward?
Right, finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the free trade agreement between India and the UK. And you are in the Shadow Cabinet for International Trade. And I'm sure you'd agree that if UK was not enveloped in such a political chaos, had it not been for the former Home Secretary Suella Braverman's irresponsible comments, that the FTA would not have been derailed, and perhaps the Indian Prime Minister would have been here in London to sign the FTA as promised by Diwali. How important is this FTA in cementing UK-India ties? And also, while we are talking about that, what can your party do to strengthen ties with India should you come back into power?
Well, I think there's a number of things there. I mean, it would be a great Diwali present for the whole of the UK if we had a sense that talks on a comprehensive trade agreement between Britain and India were back on track. But I fear that's not the case at the moment, and that's partly without question because of the political turmoil in the Conservative Party, and secondly because of Suella Braverman's quite shocking remarks about people who come from India to the UK. But I mean, India is one of the biggest nations in South Asia, without question. It's got it's growing very fast. Its economy is growing very fast. A rising middle class. It's one of the places in the world which is a potential huge market for Britain going forward. And it's madness that we are not doing more to try and build closer ties with India, and indeed with other countries across South Asia, to exploit opportunities for British business. And if that helps to cement even closer links between our two countries, I think that's a great thing. And certainly we work together on many security issues. So improving trade links also helps to cement security links going forward. So it is urgent that we get an FTA back on track. This is the free trade agreement back on track, and that's certainly something we would want to do if we were in power.
So I'm sure many in India are glad to hear that at least someone in the UK thinks that the FTA is a priority and we need to get it back on track. But until this government stabilizes, I think we can safely put the FTA on a backbench for now. Thank you so much for your insights, Mr. Thomas. Thank you for joining us here at Mojo Story. Over the next 3 days, the politics in UK will be quite a Shakespearean experience, as friends turn foes and foes turn friends. Daggers are drawn and spells are cast. Who emerges like a phoenix from the ashes? Is it Boris Johnson? Is it Rishi Sunak? Or is there another twist to this tale? This is Ruhi Khan in London for Mojo Story.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.